Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another episode of the Foolsopolis here in City Skylines. Where last episode, guys, we did some huge, and I mean huge expansions. We've got more zoning in than we've ever done before, which now leads us on to our next issue. One, it's going to take a very long time to fill that demand that we currently got. And by the whole time that we're trying to fill that demand, as of right now, we're going to consistently have huge traffic problems. So we're going to do a couple of things to kind of ease the problems and the burdens right now. We're going to get all the services in for this brand new area because we didn't get it in last episode. So we finally get to get it in today. I'm going to try and maneuver some of the garbage and some of the death care needs to some of the industries that we already have set up, because the city is really starting to struggle for it. And that is down to the part of the traffic. So we're going to try and ease in some of the burdens, try and kind of future-proof ourselves in some certain areas. It's going to be beautiful. We're going to get lots of work done today. And I'm also going to try and, get rid of that kind of huge interchange stack junction on the highway and replace it with a beautifully built one as well. So if you guys are enjoying the series and want to see more, then please make sure you smash that like button down below. If you're already here, make sure you do subscribe so you are notified that next episode does come out. But we are back. Now, we'll kind of break it down for you right now. So we got a couple of issues here, death and garbage, and a little bit over here too. So rather than keeping it all localized over here, because at the minute this was just a placeholder, it is eventually going to be moved. But what I will do is I'll use this little kind of industrial area over here, the newly formed one that we created just over there. I want to place a couple of extra garbage and death care needs nearby, so it's more spread out around the city and not all kind of, focusing on getting it from here. Now, if I put it into pause, so that's what I'll kind of do for that. Again, it's going to be a placeholder until I actually build a proper facility for all of them. Another issue is we've got so much zoning that needs to get filled in right now. Any demands that I currently have for residential are going to get spent. Now, we all know what happens when we zone a new residential area. We get a huge influx of traffic getting to that area as residents move in. Now, the byproduct of that is you get a ton of traffic. Now, the traffic's not always going to be there. It's just until they eventually do move in. So it means I've got traffic on these roads as they crisscrossing to go to the certain locations. Now, at some point, the traffic will die down, but it doesn't mean it's going to go away. It probably won't be as bad as it is right now, but we still need to solve it and figure it out. So we're going to stick around about here. Also, I've noticed there's lots of traffic coming in and out to get to both sides of this area. So I'm going to do like a roundabout and a stacked underpass to get people from these sides here, these four sides of the crisscross, get them to where they want to get to, also without having the ability to interact with the roundabout as well. So we're trying to kind of solve traffic on all different types of levels, which will be interesting. We're going to sort out the on and off ramps to the highways as well, bulk them up a little bit, and hopefully get our tram line in that we mentioned last episode too. So let's kind of do this. I don't think I'm going to solve the garbage and the death care just yet, because even if I do and I add more in, it's going to throw more vehicles onto the road and they could probably just get caught up in all the traffic all over again. So I won't do that just yet. What we'll first focus on then is the roundabout. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the path here and here, and I want to make this side here very similar to these, how they kind of stagger going out, which means deleting this, and then with the road, pulling that down to there. So it's a bit hard to see, but that's how it works, because it then allows us to have enough space to do a beautiful roundabout. So I want to replicate this on this side. So if I bring this down to here is 40, bam, and I'm going to have to anarchy this real quick, bam, down to here is 30, but obviously, is that 40 there? That's a 40 there. That kind of throws us off. So I take it that is a 40 there. From that staggered. That there is a 30. So I take it from here is a 51. From here is a 61. Then from here is a 51. So it's only this one's a 61, but it is what it is. Some areas are just built differently. So get you connected in like that. So we got this little staggered effect going back right now, which I'm going to have to get rid of some of the zoning just so I can kind of see what is going down. So I'll put it back into play mode anyway. So if I get rid of all the zoning around this little section, and we'll do the same just here. So this whole area is pretty open. Now I want to say that that is all connected. Yeah, there's no like, nothing's off by one mark, is there? No, we're all okay. So we get to build this beautiful roundabout right now. So it is a four lane road. It could eventually maybe progress up to a 6-lane road or something like that. But I've got the space around it right now to drop a roundabout. The metro lines go above it. And then with these roads that kind of stagger like this, we can use them to kind of go underground to pop up over on this side. So people here haven't got a funnel to an exit to come down round the roundabout to go back in. They can just underpass to these areas a little bit easier as well. So it's kind of like trying to solve the inner city traffic. So pause again, bring up the roundabout mod. Now it's a 4-lane road, so you could argue, okay, think about it logically. You've got 2 lanes. You've technically got the one on the right side that turns to the right. And then the left-hand lane goes either straight ahead or to the left. So in reality, you kind of need 3 lanes. You could argue that fact. I don't know if I'm going to go 3 lanes. I think I'll start... Should I start with a 2-lane highway first? Let me try a 60. Because you could use the 2 lanes for like either going straight ahead, straight round, and all that kind of jazz. Do I go by an 80? I mean, I can go by an 80. If I'm going by an 80, then probably we start thinking about 3-lane roads. So 3-lane highway. Drop you in right there by an 80 radius. Bam. Messed that up big time, didn't it? But that's okay, because I'm going to delete these anyway. There's a little random section just there. I'm deleting them anyway, because I don't want a straight 90 degree to the roundabout. I want them to kind of slide onto the roundabout, if that makes sense. So big, beautiful 3-lane dropped in. Nice little focal center point right now. We've got the metro lines going above it. It's going to be beautiful. So if we make sure that we are, with this road, 10 away. So if I delete, and if I go all the way up, we're 23. So if I go up by 13, we're 10 away. From there, so I need to go down by 2, but I can't, so I've got to delete and then place it back in. So today is 23, 13. I might as well do the same on each one of them. So 23, 13, and they're probably all 23 away, but you'd have that one random one that might have been not how I wanted it. 23. So we now know that they're all 10 away. So what I could do is I could do the full shebang slip road from this distance. I can maybe bring it in maybe by 5, so it's not as great. We'll test it out on this one first. So 2-lane road. So if I do it by a 6, and if I flip this one round, now let's see what this would be like. It could be a bit too close, or it could be perfect. What do you reckon? Do you reckon that's slopey enough? Maybe not. So we'll try it again this time. And what are we away from here? 16. So I only got to do a 6. So if I try it then by the full 10, so it's all about trial and error. And I go for an 11. I go for the 11 there. There's no nodes in the middle. Wow, it's really not like him. This is it. So if I select this bit here, can I get... No, you can't even bend it going further up. Really not going to like doing that. So maybe we're going to have to bring it a bit closer then. I mean, the other argument is... What's that? That's 17. So 7 and then a 5 because your boy can't do math. So the other argument could be maybe you do it a bit further. So what if I did by in... Nah, not 8. We'll stick it to the 6x6. Leave it like that because I could go over the top, overboard, but there's no need to. So a slight bend. There we go. should solve any of our issues anyway. So then what we'll do then is make sure there's no traffic lights. I will do the junction restrictions of not allowing them to cross the road at all. And we'll also make sure that they go pretty much straight. Now, thing is, I got to set the roundabout up when I've done all the other connections. So we'll leave it to that first. So if I get all the other roads sorted now then. So I know it's a full 10, I know that. So each one will do a 5. There we go. And then we did it by a 6. So a 6 and a 6. 6 and a 6. 6 and a 6. So that one flips around, that one flips around, that one flips around. We'll quickly do a little bit of a bend, just so they can slightly-ish not have a full 90-degree turn. There we go. And then we'll quickly sort out these anyway. So I don't know whether when you sort the roundabout out, it automatically sorts out these junctions in terms of the crossing the road on this one. But I'll do it manually anyway. And then if I set the whole roundabout up to be what it needs to be, the giveaway signs and all that kind of jazz, all I've then got to do is sort out these to pretty much go straight ahead in their lanes. So without doing anything else, we've kind of created the roundabout. Now it's not perfect. I could do other stuff like leading on to having little slip roads that cut through, but I don't think it's going to be that mental. If it does become a little bit more mental, then we'll kind of figure things out and sort things out. But then that moves me on to my next thing I can sort out. So now we've got the roundabout in. That will do wonders. But what about the people who are living in here and just want to get to, like, say, over here? They'll either have to kind of come out of here, go down, interact the roundabout, go down and cut in, or filter through here, cross the big main road, which could cause backlog to the roundabout, and vice versa. So what I could do for that then is just give them, like, the additional alternative. And also give an additional pedestrian alternative as well, because I had the paths that connected to there so they could cross over. But by eliminating that factor now, right, I can use a tunnel to go underneath and pop back up. Pedestrians can walk underneath it. Now the question is, because this also could get a little bit busy as well, because then you kind of making the roundabout redundant for the most part, is I'll do it there to there to there to there. So you kind of almost creating this as a little mini ring road. So it'll become, you know, good for some people anyway. So the interesting thing is, right, is you can't fully get this sorted amazingly. So if I go 7 by 8, 7 by 8 and connect, how did that look? So it looks a bit bumpy because it's not the full shebang. So if I delete, once I've got it perfectly, then the rest will follow. So 8 by 10. 8. Okay, I did the 7 instead. Somewhat, but that one's not obviously a 7. So 7 down by 10 and then connect. So quite dramatic, but it enables us then to have there, you know, if someone living here hasn't got to go up, maybe down, around, or if you want to cross over, they can just hit the tunnel. Makes it a little bit easier for them. Now, if traffic becomes a nightmare, then obviously we'll change it all. But I'm just trying to think of alternative methods that are not ridiculous, are just very simple, that could aid future issues and also make it more walkable. The more walkable and more public transport friendly I make the city, the less issues we're going to have. Right, that one's going to be an interesting one now because I can't fully... So we're going to have to anarchy it. I can't fully get it the way I want it to go, but we should be able to get away with that. Bam, and well, bam. So, simple. Simple, or at least I say it's kind of simple. We can fill it with trees, make it a little bit nicer as well. So if I go into play mode now then, this will be interesting to see how the city now handles it. So it's going to completely throw everybody all over the place. But we're now hoping that this is going to work. Also, by allowing people to go under the tunnels to their respective sides where they need to be, it might then take a little bit of the heat away from a junction like this. Now, of course, gotta set this junction up a little bit better anyway. But I want to see what happens from this first. I want to see what happens from this. Now, again, leading all the way down and having issues there is not great for us as well. There's lots of things I can do, but let's just see what happens with the roundabout first. There is other route causes to the tail end, but it will be interesting. So, let's now take a look at... Because I don't want to sort out the little turn-ins on these just yet until I've added the tram line in. Now, another way to make the city more walkable, more public transport friendly is obviously to implement more public transport. Now, if you look at it from this point of view, we have a line running up this way into there, a line from there and there. Now, it only really serves the purpose around here. So they're walking or they're driving to other destinations. So I need to kind of fill the gaps in between. So I thought about last episode going all the way down here and with a big rectangle to cut the two main lines this way with a tram line. Now the problem is with a tram, it adds to the road traffic because it is a road vehicle. I could do a monorail, but then you got these little overpasses for the metro that would be kind of caused and thrown in the way, which wouldn't be good for us. So as long as I sort the road traffic out correctly, then the trams shouldn't be such a huge issue. Now, logically, I'm going to use the two side roads that go down by the park. So when they come down to here, I can either make it go on the 4-lane road, or I can continue it down and use one of these roads to turn back up so I can maybe collect a few people on the other side of this. Might even make it progress over and then bring it down into here. So it's a case of now then sorting out the rest of the road network. So bring that back up then. So, okay, so if I elevated this and then connected that across, because that is one of the roads at the side of the park. This one coming down right now. So if I brought this out by... So let's say if I brought it first out by 31. Is that straight there? Yes. And then bring that up. Because this is how the rest of this network is going to go. This one, bringing it right down. So I can either bring it right down here and connect in. And then do something with this. I don't even know what I would do with it. How I would make the rest of it kind of play out. But that would go to there, obviously. But in reality, I kind of need it to go across, don't I? So I could make... sinking that down. How do I feel about all this connecting across? I mean, again, it's that Amsterdam vibe that we're going for, that we're trying to attempt. It's just whether I make it continually bend around with us, because it is very difficult to get it snapped in, isn't it? Because if that's the case, then that's obviously that's going to bend round, and then we're pushing in a very funky direction. But if I just selected this for now, because we can't theoretically get a perfect alignment. So if it's coming down here, I kind of want to bring it in. So I think I should just pick a space, shouldn't I? Just pick a space, boy. So if I bought this out by 20, ran that down to here, if I use this as being the road. So in reality, I need to... So that's the 11 there. If I kind of continued from there... Right, I brought this up first. I need to get these two here connected. Now, I could use the actual connections tool and see what these guys come up with. So if I go for quite a wide-ish bend. So that's just kind of standard stuff, isn't it? That's standard protocol. And then if I elevated that little section here. What am I? Am I still on road connection mode? Yeah, get off that. So I could slightly elevate that as well, just to make it a little bit more unique. Yeah, why not? So if I chose that node here, and then just gently lifted it up, just to add a little bit of character to the area. Maybe gently, well, it doesn't really matter about gently lifting that, because it's just a case of then aligning these. So from you to you, slight elevation. From you to you, slight elevation change just there. So it's not much, it's just to kind of lift it up to give it a little bit of character. But that creates for my tram line to swing around and then come in and then straight back down there. So I can have a stop here, and it serves a purpose for these guys on this side. So then pushing up then, it's pretty much going to go up in a straight-ish line. And then we have the stop just there. So I assume for now, what I will do... Now this is all just based on assumptions. If I come out by... Hang on, we go in elevating again. By 11, cut down and in. That I'll get it to kind of interact with... whatever we build over on this side. So if I push it back by 3, and that's where we'll cut there, because it serves a purpose for this radius as well. So now it's just a case of upgrading those roads. So before we do then, we've given the roundabout a little bit of time. It's kind of cleared quite a bit. Using those little underground tunnels has really, really helped. Look at the reduced amount of traffic now exiting from this side. It's just the problem we've got now then is filtering traffic down this way. Now the problem is they're getting caught up in two ways. Traffic turning out of here, and then traffic turning in. So I'll sort the tram lines out first then, because one of the tram roads is going to cut through here. But we need to sort out the turning directions. And if we can kind of ease in that burden, then we've kind of made this pretty free. It's then just maybe, I don't know if we would apply it in other areas. But, you know, just simple little fixes like that goes a long way. So the tram lines then, and we're going with this style of road, and we have to upgrade. So upgrade, and then down here. So obviously upgrade the elevated ones. I'm quite excited to build up this area a bit more. Now we got a tram going across the canal. It's going to be like really, really cool as well. So a bit of a painstaking task. But it will be pretty good. And it's going to be quite a bit of a challenge as well, trying to sort out the lane changing on a road like this. That's part of the fun. It's part of the challenge. And again, the reason we're getting it coming down here as well, because so many people want to get to the park. Stick them on a tram. Alright, it's such a painstaking task when you've got to do it like this. Right, there we go. So, I mean, the tram line might change in the future in directions and ways it goes. But we can't decide or understand how it's going to go until we build this area up a bit more. So there we go. We've got the full loop. So from a public transport standpoint, you can see the purple line. So it connects up both sides going horizontally. It goes near 2, well actually no, it goes near 3 of the metro stops. So they can have a stop here or there and they can walk to and from. Same here, walk to and from. This one's on this side, so they can walk to it very easily. But it just has that additional layer. You know, they're not always going to the metro line. They're not always driving. There's just that additional kind of thing. It's just the only concern is having the trams cut across these type of junctions. But again, we'll get them in, and then we'll solve certain issues that we're going to be having. Right then, so to be able to get and implement this in, we're going to need a Tram Depot, which is slightly large-ish building. Can't squeeze in there, so he's going to have to go around on the radius around here somewhere. So I think near all of this junction there. Alright, if I implemented it there as it was on that actual junction, I think it's a decent spot for it, near the highway, where not really much can go down. So now we need to create 2 loops, right? So we'll start with our anti-clockwise route. I had to think for a second. So if I have the first one literally underneath here, we'll have the first one there. Then the first stop can be, the next stop, sorry, can be here between the 2 park gates. That's another thing. So these might change depending on how I do the rest of the layout. The next one will be between these 2 park gates. Then we'll cut across here. So we've got to divide this nicely. So if I do, there's a stop there, they can walk to that metro line. If I do one here then, just to kind of keep the traffic away from the junction. Then the same again just here. Keep the traffic away from that junction. I'll have one in just there for the purpose of having one in here. I'll do this one then at the same like side here. There, again, walkable distance. The next one just there. The next one, again, just slightly a tad bit away. It's all walkable, but I'm trying to make sure the trams don't backlog and back themselves up onto the road. The next one, just there. So we'll have this next one here. Now, I can't do it under here because we've got double junctions that will cause some traffic issues itself. Do you know what? Actually, no. We will do it. I'll do it there. That might be a problem, but we'll kind of see in the future. I'll do a stop. Actually, no. Let me cancel that. I'll do it there instead, because then it allows me to place this one there. These are awfully close. You know what? No, cancel those. I'll do this one here, because if you're here, you can either walk to that one, or you can walk to this stop. Probably going to move that one. This makes it more approachable for everything else. So I'll do this one just here before it crosses over. I'll do one there just because. And we'll do one just here before it passes over there. Actually, no. We'll put it there. Then have this one here to there. Alright, can I... Okay, I've cancelled that one off. Because you've got this one. If you like around here, you either walk to that one or you walk to this one and the metro line's there. So that's our first tram line right now. It probably will change eventually. Again, I've got it some stops in areas where we have no people. So those ones might be the ones that are subject to change. But at least we've got something going on, right? At least we have a plan. The plan can change, but we've got a plan is the main thing. So I'll give it some time as well for a few trams to go around the loop before we decide if we need more or less. And also give them time as well to disperse quite nicely. So tram loops around. Amazing. So now we'll take a look at adding in some extra garbage and death care facilities, because then that will add the extra vehicles to the traffic, and then we can then slowly go through and sort the traffic out. So just for now then, I think it's ideal to kind of, in the little pockets of industrial that we do have, place in some of these like recycling centers. So we'll go for the, do I go for the large recycling centers or should I go for the basic ones? I mean, I could go for these. I could go to ones that produce a bit of power. It's a tough one, isn't it? Large recycling center. Or these ones. So these are a little bit smaller. We can place them on double-sided of the roads. Now, these roads are mainly dead underneath the highway, so having them face this way, I could have these ones, they're huge. So they have a capacity of 72,000, these have a capacity of 24,000. So it makes sense to do these, but they're huge. They take up so much room. In the same space, I could have 4, which does so much more. So that just kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So if I had 2 there, well 4 there, sorry, which will give us an extra 48 vehicles dotting around, good. Then for death care, now these are going to be placeholder crematoriums. You know, I will eventually add some more in. But if I just kind of 1, 2, 3, added 3 there just to kind of, you know, serve this side of the city. For now, it should be fine. So while that will add more vehicles to the roads, how's the roundabout then? So the roundabout is, it definitely filtering traffic through, which is good. But these aren't really playing ball. Now before I sort any of that out, let's first focus on this on and off ramp. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to bulk, where's my highway roads? There we go. Going to bulk up these here. So if I do, for example, this one, and it's got to be elevated by the way. So if I do it by 2, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. What that allows us to do is when they arrive, the vehicles, so let's say they're turning from this side. You can turn in from there and from there, right? Then obviously this is going to go this way. This will go this way. So if you're going across the road, you're doing it like that. So it gives us the ability to filter 2 lanes on and 2 lanes off, basically the highway. That's how it works. We might have to do something very similar to over here. But if we sort this out first, then the rest should follow. So that goes that way, that goes that way. So then you really are reducing how many lanes crisscross one another. But the problem lies around this one, where we're going to have trams going across, and this one as well. Also this one too. So again, we'll solve this one. So first things first then, do we have traffic lights? No traffic lights there. Get rid of them just there. Get rid of them just there. Okay, we're all good. We're all good, we're all good, we're all good. So first things first then, the majority of the traffic just wants to drive through. Okay, majority of the traffic just wants to drive through. So we first need to tell the traffic that just wants to drive through what lane you need to be in. So we add in first the dedicated turning lanes. So they know what they've got to do. But then you have the problem with the vehicles who want to turn and change lanes. So that's maybe where we look towards probably setting up this as a 6-lane road. Just on this little strip right now. Or it could possibly be solved with the basic stuff first. So setting those little ones up first, like we've just done there. So if I tell initially these straight through roads what lane they need to be in. It's a bit weird how they're going to be turning in here, but again, needs to happen. Which again, won't really solve the traffic because we've got so much going on. Now you could drop like little mini roundabouts here, but again, it won't solve the problems. So what I could do, because we have this road crisscrossing there for them to go underneath, really these guys going out shouldn't need to go straight ahead, because if they wanted to, they could use this one. So what I'd say to these then is you and you are set up where you cannot go across one another. You are dedicated to following these routes, right? Then further down, I'll allow them to turn in here. But then this point then will have a dedicated turning lane. So it might allow this to flow through a little easier. It'll filter some of the traffic to go in under. And these vehicles will be able to move. Now if I did the same thing for here. Right, if I say to these guys, you can only go that way. You can only go this way. Bam. Well, bam. Now it does kind of throw off a little bit of a wobbler. Because then it's a case of... Oh yeah, I forgot. The tram lines are also involved in this, aren't they? Tram lines shouldn't be affected by this. So what's your issue? Are you really following the laws of the road, tram lines? Right, we'll allow this one to go straight ahead then. Are they really following the laws of the road? Will that now sort out the tram lines? Right, fast forward. Come on, trams. You can do this. You know what you've got to do. Alright, they should update momentarily anyway. But again, by doing that then, all of a sudden the exit points to these roads are a lot freer because they can use that and they go back and forth. Our main issue then becomes this junction here. I just want to make sure... Right, one of our trams is connected, right? Yeah. Right, yeah, they'll eventually connect. So that becomes... This is now the major issue. So now then, we've got to sort out what is the problem for these guys. So it's a case of these people turning in this way and coming down here might... Oh, snap. Hang on. I can't do it on this side either. I just realised because I've got the trams. So the trams are messing me up big time, boys. They really are. Right, we'll allow them to crisscross. It's just a case of sorting this little section out then. So, big boy roads. I could do the ones with the dedicated turning lane. So we could try these first. Right. We could try these first. I could bring them all the way down. Going all the way down just to this little strip just there. So if I play that game first, which I've actually now kind of got rid of this zone in just there. Bring some of that down just to here. Because also as well, eventually when I've got the roads cutting through and connecting to there, rather than coming out to go this way to get onto there, they could drive up, round, down and get in that way. You know, there's also them alternatives. But by having those little turning lanes right now then, we should give them the ability to continue to push through. But we do need those other options. It's just when you bulk so much traffic around here, we need other alternatives. So if that stayed as it is with these roads and they weren't going anywhere, then in reality, these would pass through and connect like this, right? They just would. They ultimately just would. And then if I brought this out by 11, down to here by 30. So if we do like the generic grid method right now, because then let's say, what have we done there? We've come out by, right, it will eventually connect to that one as well. So that one is the 41. That becomes the 31. So one more would be here. And then, oh, how is that going to affect, because that is then smack bang on my tram stop. Right, we're going to have to move that in just a moment. So that there is a 40. So now 40 would be... Is that a 40? That's a 30. The 40 would take place there. Oh, that went all wonky, mate. Because the other issues are... We need to get these alternatives all set up. And then you get the odd few vehicles then start to use that. So if I just move this tram stop then, so I think I'm gonna... I mean, on that junction, is it okay to be just there? Maybe again. But then by giving those alternative roads, which we will eventually have them fly through, then reduces the amount of traffic passing by. But again, it is a mental one. It is a mental one, just because the way we've got it all set up and the way we've got to get them all filtering through. So crazy. But either way, that's going to be passing up that way. So it's just nice to have these additionals. But it will eventually all move. That's the thing. It will eventually all move. I mean, the fact that this is what it is, they're all trying to filter to that, just kind of completely throws us all off. But they are slowly moving. Everyone's in their lanes. The roundabout's flowing nicely. And hopefully this little backlog will slowly settle down. He prays. He prays. We'll give it time. We'll give it time. But like a little mini roundabout there, I wouldn't go amiss. But then you got the problem of it's too close to that. But all the little side roads lead us on to other areas. Now, something else you could argue is they're all going down here because they're trying to get from one side of the park to the other. Now, what about, I mean, I previously mentioned about having a road that went through, and I decided not to. But then you're thinking, nice little underground tunnel, wouldn't go amiss, right? Wouldn't go amiss, but look at how minimal it's now becoming. And then once that becomes minimal, the backlog within the main streets will filter out. So it's slowly moving. Slowly but surely. Now, you can apply the same logic to these guys through here as well. But again, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt for the moment. Sometimes it's very stressful. But anyway, right, death care and garbage have slightly kind of dropped down, which is really good. It's good to see. It's good to see. So, how are we looking in terms of all the other traffic then? It's all slowly being pushed through. Now, we'll take a look at this road as well, because that's going to be a huge contributing factor for other future problems. So, the basic stuff before you go any further, then the traffic lights, they're all off, right? Yeah. Now, the problem for this is that road there's a bit too close, but I can perform the same task we've got over here. But do we need to add more turning roads there? So if I implemented the same kind of structure where we had the road go underneath and under there, it would take the edge off. But there are so many trams right now waiting to skedaddle through. It's just a case of playing the waiting game because it's so quiet around here right now. I think it's just a case of I've got to wait for them to kind of filter through. But I do need to give them the helping hand. So we've got a roundabout here. It makes sense to squeeze one there. Yeah, it does. So let's implement one here then. But to do that, if I go for the roundabout mod, you can see the radius of it is and what we kind of need to get rid of. So we've got to create something very similar to this. Meaning, pausing. Deleting you, deleting you, deleting you as well, and that's going to kind of mess us up slightly. So in reality, that is a full 10, but that needs to go back to there. That one cuts down to here. Right. So then, these aren't aligned ideally either. But roundabout mod, drop you in. Right. Delete back off these. And then de-zone the bits that I don't really want to have any zoning on. So, a lot of stuff going on because of all the buildings. But if I quickly press play, they'll quickly disappear. So give them a little bit of a helping hand. Okay, back into play mode. Pause mode, sorry. So, leading to this, then it's 10. We've got to go to a 5. 16. We've got to go to an 11. So that's a 5, right? Yeah. Coming down here, 13 and 8. Which is a different style of road there. I don't know why I'm choosing different style of road, but 8 will be a 5. So from there is an 11. So we need it to be a 6. And that's a 5. Okay. Good stuff. So quickly doing all this again then. So a 6 by a 6. 6 by a 6. 6. This is going to be fun trying to get this one in. By a 6. No, that was okay. 6 by a 6. And then flipping around the ones that need to go on the correct routes. Bam. There we go. Not bad. Not bad. So it allows us then to do the underground pass there. The underground pass here, which is going to be an interesting one trying to connect up to this. So I might have to do it slightly a little bit different. So you get the ability for them to pass again under those direct routes, we're kind of killing them off. That then becomes like more like a direct route because they can underpass over to this side as well, thus keeping the traffic freely moving. So let's sort the roundabout out with the correct stuff. So put into play mode then. So I'll start them from crisscrossing the road here. Start them from crossing here. And here, the pedestrians. No crissy-crossy. There we go. So do what they need to do there, but we need to take some pressure off, obviously, this junction here, which is why we create the underpass. There. So out by, was it 7 or 8? I want to say it's a 7. I went down by before. Down by 10. Shabam. So at the minute, that's the most important one, right? That is the most important one. But it then does kind of make me want to change the roads leading to those tunnels. Because it kind of gets to there and you're at a dead stop. So if I changed that road so it kind of led correctly, I could then kill off this. So it passes through a lot nicer. So it all flows through a lot more. So you're getting a few vehicles now starting to use it or kind of filter to that road, which is great to see. Obviously, I've caused my own traffic with what I've just done. We've got the underpass just there. Got these roads now looking a little bit close. We've got to do something here now. So to do it here is a bit different because it's not aligned correctly because we've gone around the bus route. So in reality, we're looking at a road just here. So it will be there. So you come out by a 7. I think we'll still get away with it, to be honest with you. So that's a 10. Is that a 10 by 10 bend? Yeah. Oh, that's a bit nicer. But then again, wouldn't we need it to go across through here? But at the same time, well, that next one would happen there. So we're okay. I think we're okay. So again, you just got to give the game time right now because I literally deleted the crossroads and then made them redirect all their routes. But that additional line can be really, really handy. So it's reduced the amount of traffic around this junction. It's just now we've got that problem there. We're all free here right now. So remember we had all that big backlog? That's now all free. So we've cleared that. So that 100% worked. And that's something that you cannot argue. It worked. It's just a case of now clearing all this through. So it'll be the same as last time then. I won't mess with it until the backlog is cleared because then we probably won't have any issues after that. It's all slowly moving. Good stuff. So it's a case of now looking at our public transport. So for those tram lines, they both have 17 vehicles on them, which seems like a lot. Do they need the 17 vehicles? I mean, there is a case when it gets to this. Now, that is... okay, there by the park. So that one up there. So yeah, there is a moment where we do need those 17 vehicles to process through the backlog. And those vehicles are now on their way over to get to them. That's just on line 1. Line 2. Same again. There's 900 waiting at this stop. Which is probably the main crisscross over to the metro line. So, but again, they're all on their way. A bunch of empty trams right now are on their way to collect. So it could be a case. You know what it could be as well? That they were caught up in that traffic for so long. Those stations were the furthest ones away from that traffic. So they're now eventually getting over to them. So again, give them a little bit of time. Give them a little bit of time, boys. A little bit of time. Right, okay, so the backlog around the bus station is now slowly clearing through. So that is slowly clearing through. I think we'll make this strip here, like how we know we did this strip just there and up to there, as the had the dedicated turning lane. I'll do this strip here of it. So upgrade you, just that strip anyway. So allows them to turn in and get into multiple lanes on the approach and whatnot. Filters a little bit more through than normal. It all eventually starts to move anyway. But yeah, going by seeing what we did here and how this is now looking gives me good hope for this. You got to break it to fix it, right? You got to break it to fix it. Not quite, Sonny. Not quite. But not bad. So the population's about 60,000 right now. It's running, I wouldn't say smoothly. We do need some more water eventually. I've got to move all this. If I check the water anyway, we don't have any water pollution, do we? Where's the normal pollution? We have ground pollution, no water pollution, which is interesting. Very good. So trams are in, roundabouts are in. Should we, I mean, they're slowly still filling all the residential up, but should we beautify these roundabouts a bit? Let's do it. Let's make that brush size a bit more. Maximum strengths. Place some trees around the roundabout. And the bushes that we have within them, where are they? Right, we'll reduce the amount of ferns. Was there bushes thrown into it? Tree saplings, wildflower. Oh, it's the flower clusters. Reduce them. So when we are placing them down, there's more trees than bushes. That makes sense. So there we go. Beautiful. So a lot of the backlogs on the entries right now have really reduced. But again, it all still comes down to the old waiting for them to cut in. So if that is dedicated to turn, that is dedicated to turn. That can be our straight over and left. If that's coming in, it's going that way and right. So that is our bam and wabam. Do you know what? No, it's not, because I've got the turning lane in. What am I doing? That's when we need a turning lane here. So if I quickly upgraded you. And you. Right, hold on. I'm going to play around with this real quick. So obviously we have this. We then have this. Which you can merge it with that. Which I don't want to just yet. That is for that one, right? That goes that way, that way. That goes that way as well. That is the turning lane for that. That is the turning lane for there. You kind of have the roads set up. So the two bulky traffic now coming out all leads into 2 lanes, which is good to see. It's not perfect because it does kind of completely mess us up, and you are heavily relying on traffic not coming out of the other sides. So you could argue then, how about these guys gave way? But then you're really starting to push boundaries. But then the other problem is then, even when you set it up to where they can freely flow a lot more easier, the next problem is then pedestrians. Because pedestrians like to stop the vehicles are moving. And that's when you then start thinking about doing the overpasses for the walkways. So I can implement it here. For the funsies, I can implement it here. Now, it is a case of, at the end of the day, I'm probably just waiting for this backlog to clear and then we'll never see traffic here again. Very much like down here. But then again, you got to think, it's different to this side because it's the park the tram lines, the train station and the metro lines, they're walking a lot back and forth here. So they're going to be slowing down everybody no matter what. So it might be a good idea to have the little overpasses for the walkways. But then the more and more I keep talking, the clearer and clearer this all then slowly becomes. But at the same time, it's a case of there's so many pedestrians. Right, let me try it. We'll at least trial an area on this one. So, do you know what? If I implement it here. Now, you gotta hope it's not gonna kill off any of the buildings. Now, this allows them to get to any side super easy. Obviously, if you're coming this way, you walk down, go up the ramp. So it's just a case of then turning off the ability to cross the road in this junction. Oh, wrong button. That they then start using this crossroad. So just give it a moment. Because by then that happening, this junction then moves a whole lot smoother. They all start walking across the top. Yeah, it clips in. It's not perfect. But I can push it over like this. I can push it over like that, and then no one's none the wiser. And then you can implement the same thing over here, and then this area becomes as free as this. As free as a bird. Alright, select it all. Nodes and everything. Duplicate it. Drop it down and pretend we know what we're talking about. Right, is that central? I hope it is. So then, the junction. Now, the difference is I haven't done to this junction. Oh no, it's deleting buildings. Sliak, what have you done? Did he delete buildings over there? No, he didn't. What are you doing, game? Right, in pause. Delete, 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 delete. Right, get you zoning back in. Nice. Okay, your zoning's all back in. Don't delete! I come in peace. So, it's because you've got to connect them to the road first, which is annoying. I know. We've gone for a 7 on this side. This is mental. Right, there we go. So, is this... Are we on the move it tool right now? Let me get rid of all of this. Move it tool. Oh, I can't even find the node. Right, we should be okay on that side at least. So yeah, the difference is on this then. I haven't done the junction in the way that the vehicles position themselves. Can I find the nodes on this? That's actually quite difficult to find them. Right, okay, I won't do it now because I'm just going to be wasting time. But this is a bit more free-flowing. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. This is a little bit more chaotic over here. Yeah, oh, it has the turning lanes set in. But I didn't set the lanes to do what I want them to do. So... if that went to there and then turned into there, it means this one then comes over to here. It means that one then goes over to there. No, that doesn't. That goes into there. That one. How did I do it over here? I've already forgotten how I did it over here. Oh, that one merges over to there with the right-hand turning lane. Oh, yeah, that makes sense because the guys coming out would then go to there. Yeah, I got it. Right, that goes down to there. I should have done this before I placed this down. It's a bit more confusing. And then the turning lanes in the middle, we don't do much with them because they'll sort themselves out. So give that time then. That should then freely move vehicles up, which will keep this freely moving. This is all still free down here. That will slowly get a little bit more freer as everyone then kind of now figures out what lanes they need to be in. The added additional benefit is everyone can cross the road not by using the road, which is good. So everything works in our favor, right? Time will tell. Only time will tell. Even though I set the giveaway, right, instead of giveaway, stop. Same for these. Stop. So those guys have got to stop and allow the people here the ability to pass through, even though they never always do. Would that filter more vehicles through? You'd like to think so. To be honest with you, looking at it, you know how I get these to go over to there? There's less traffic doing the left-hand turn, to be honest with you. If I implemented the same over here, just want to see how they move. Do you know what? I think they're moving a lot cleaner. Only time will tell. You could get so caught up with all of this. I'm just trying to make the best of a bad situation. But yeah, that makes it a lot more free. Vehicles are moving so much smoother. But at the same time, it doesn't solve all of our issues. It doesn't solve all of our issues, but it does make them a little bit easier to deal with. Once you get more roads all connected up anyway, more roads, lines going everywhere, that will make this little connection a lot more freer. But most importantly, we've got the roundabouts in. This road is slowly becoming more and more free as the time goes on. Adding in the stop signs right now really affects these guys. So it's a case of now we've got to figure out the best option for us on that front without impeding too much. But once all this traffic is freely moved through, then it might give a chance for these guys to then start pushing through as well. So, you know, swings and roundabouts, guys. Swings and roundabouts. We've gone actually down to 58,000 population. So we've actually lost a little bit of population. I'm not sure what we kind of started with. But now we've implemented all that in, we can go back to focusing on the expansions. So we'll keep an eye on all of the public transport anyway. It's really important that we keep on top of it. We've got to spend an episode or two every so often where we do something like this to fix any of the issues, because we'll just keep going. The issues will build up and then the issues become very unfixable is the best way to kind of low-key put it. But guys, I hope you are enjoying the series and the episode. If you are, smash that like button down below. Until next time, I'll see you all soon. So, goodbye.